All right, hello everybody. Welcome to our first webinar. We've got Darbe Nokes, our Vice President, the Credit Gal, and she's going to go over her credit restoration script, exactly what she says to a credit client from start to finish. Don't worry about taking notes. We actually have typed up the complete script, and I'll be emailing that out tomorrow and putting it online so we can download it. So just kind of turn off your phone. Actually, leave your phone on because you got to hear us, but put it on mute. Turn off your TV, grab your favorite beverage, sit back, relax, and really focus on, not only what Darbe says to a client, a credit client, but also how she says it. At the end of this video, by probably Sunday, we'll upload this webinar to YouTube so you can watch it, and we'll also make a podcast on MP3 so you can download it on your phone if you have a smartphone. And then we'll make the credit script available, the follow-up emails available, and again, the whole audio available, and that'll be on the Facebook team group as well. So here's Darbe Nokes with exactly what she says for a credit restoration client from start to finish.
Thank you, Craig, and thank y'all. I know it's a Thursday night, and there's probably other things that you could be doing tonight, but I think it's important to, we're given a script when we join Financial Education Services. We know we have a product, which is our credit restoration, that 43 million people need. But sometimes you look at that script and go, okay, I've done what I'm supposed to do as an agent. I've made my list of my warm market people I know, and I have the script in front of me. But for whatever reason, that phone weighs 500 pounds. And so what we decided to do, and, work with us a little bit, this is our first webinar, and we are going to get better at it, and we're going to go over all different things every week, every Thursday night at 7. And like Craig said, we are going to be recording it, putting it up in script, so you'll be able to use it in your business. So tonight I'm going to go over the credit restoration script, and I'm going to go over it because obviously I've been in this business for 4 years. I am one of the top, salesmen or person exposing this product, if you will, in the company. And I think it's truly because I practice my craft. I actually did this for myself. When I first started, I had a script. We pretty much made up the script between a few people within this business over the years, and we perfected it for those people out in the field. And what I used to do is I used to record it, a conversation with myself to somebody else, and I used to play it on my iPhone over and over and over again because practice does make perfect. So without further ado, I'm going to start with the first conversation. So if you have a conversation, let's call it if you're calling them. So let's say, hi, Joe, this is Darbe Nokes. I'm a credit consultant with Financial Education Services, United Credit. How are you today? Hopefully they're going to say fantastic. And go, and obviously you're calling them because either they're a referral to you, or maybe you have done some advertising and they've left a message for you. The first question you're going to ask them is, have you seen your credit score lately? And they're going to and if they answer you yes, then the next question you're going to ask them is, what negative items are on your credit report? Now, if they say, I really don't know, one thing I can promise you they know is they know they have been late on credit cards. They know if they haven't paid them. They know whether they have a foreclosure. They might not have seen your report, but they know. So I say, I'm sure you are calling me because you have negative items on your report. What do you feel could be on your report? And they're going to tell you. And then usually with that, the next question you ask them, and this is very important, and this is the only time you'll need a pen and a piece of paper when you're talking on the phone to a prospect. You're going to say, what are you trying to achieve by raising your score? This is what you are going to use in your close. What are you trying to achieve by raising your score? And let's just say they're looking for a job. Well, I said, you must know. Like, you're always pumping somebody up. You must know that 60% of employers are pulling credit to get a job, and also a high percentage of employers are looking at scores to even get a raise. So you always want to put some information in there to make them think. So you want to make them think. Now, let's say their answer to what are you trying to achieve was they want to buy a car. Well, you need to find out, are they trying to buy a car today, 6 months from now? When are they going to buy a car? And you're going to write down that information because you're going to use it in your clothes.
Darby, can we just make sure everyone on the line that you have your phone on mute because we're getting some feedback. So make sure you have your phone on mute so that way you can hear us, but we don't hear any feedback.
Right, it's *6 or mute, your mute button. So let me go back. Are you buying a car now, 6 months from now? And they're going to give you the answer. When they give you the answer, you got to say, well, I had a family member, and you can use my story, okay? So use it. You know, you can say, I heard somebody in my organization had a family member that had to buy a car to get to work and got a Toyota Corolla and ended up having to put $5,000 down on the car, pay 28.99% interest, and their payment ended up being $550 a month. Now, remember, that's for a Toyota Corolla. And their score, and if their score was 700, they would have been paying $150 a month with $1,000 down. And you can see, Joe, with this one transaction, how much your life is costing you having less than perfect credit. Can't you? Can't you? So once again, they are thinking. They're always thinking. Now let's go to buying a home. And this one's rampant. I would say that 90% of the people that are looking to restore their credit are in the home market. So they're trying to buy a home. And when you're saying you're trying to buy a home, are you looking to buy a home right now? Remember, you've got to find out when they're going to buy the home. Or are you trying to buy a home in the near future? Well, obviously, your credit is going to make a huge difference in even being a candidate to buy a home. So let me give you an example of that. We have a client in Dallas, Texas, and they're a big testimonial for our company. And we helped them, so now they're a homeowner. Their name's the Mollers from Dallas, Texas. They had a bankruptcy on their credit that was true. They were 3 years into a 7-year bankruptcy. And it was standing in their way of purchasing a home. And after 90 days in our program, they not only got their bankruptcy removed, but their credit score went from a 550 to a 740. They were able to do a 30-year conventional loan, which ended up saving them $1,000 a month. Let's count that, $1,000 over 30 years. So that one transaction, can you imagine how much money they're saving in that one transaction? Not only did it change the life of the Mullers, but they were able to save on so many other things in their life. And then you're going to go into, well, Joe, what particular questions do you have about our service? So when you've done question 1, 2, now we're going to go in, well, Joe, what particular question do you have about our service? Now I'm going to go through many questions with you in a moment, but you've answered a couple of questions for them already. And when I ask what other particular questions do you have, I also say, Joe, are you in front of your computer? And they're going to say yes or no. And most of the time they're not. Most of the time they're driving. Maybe they're behind me seeing my sign on my car or whatever. Or they're driving down the road. They've seen a road sign. You know, people are busy. And you say, well, let me get your email because I want you to look at this process in detail. I'm sure you have a lot more questions, but I want you to see this process in detail. We have an 8-minute video that I'd like to send to you, and also with a login that will show you what the client, you as a customer, are going to see. So what is your email? They're going to give it to you. Now, Joe, when are you going to be able to look at that? Today? Always put out there today, right? Or, okay, what is the best time to get back with you? Tomorrow then? Tomorrow morning at 9:30? After you've taken a look at the information? Always get a time. You are not going to chase anybody. Remember, they need their credit repaired. You are showing them more details. You've answered a couple of their questions. All right? So you always want to make sure you send out that email. Now, we are going to post, and Craig and Chris will post the emails that I send out. All right? And when they do that, you're going to send out, we pretty much send out the same email. It has the united-credit.org site. It has how to log into the 8-minute video, and it also has how to log in as a customer. Now, the next thing I want to go through is follow-up. You know, follow-up, the fortune is in the follow-up, guys. Fortune is in the follow-up. And so you always want to make sure that you follow up and you keep good records, and you call them back at the time that they told you to call them. That is extremely important. Remember, you're building credibility here. You're building credibility. This might be a person that doesn't know you, that called you off a sign or advertising, etc. So let's say you're following up and you get a voicemail, you know, because that happens quite often. You're going to say, hi, this is Darbe Nokes, credit consultant. I'm calling back at our scheduled time. You know, you're making a note that you are calling back at our scheduled time. I wanted to make sure that you took a look at the information I sent you, and we need to get you started on restoring your credit score. Because buying that home, you're going to enter whatever it was that you wrote down for this person. Buying that home, if you want to buy that home in 6 months, Joe, we need to start repairing your score today. If you want to buy that car in the near future, we need to make sure we repair your credit score today. You always want to make sure you use that even when leaving a message. Now, let's say that you're talking to them. You can say, hi, Joe, this is Darbe Nokes, credit consultant with Financial Education Services United Credit. Did you have a chance to watch the video I sent you? And if they didn't watch the video, I really want you to watch the video, Joe, because it goes over the process in detail. And then if you have any questions after that, I will absolutely answer those questions. So when are you going to have 8 minutes to take a look at the video so we can get you started restoring your credit? Now, how many things did I just stay in there? 8 minutes, not very long. Absolutely answer any one of your questions, right? We want to get started restoring your credit score. All of those are very, very important. Now, if they have taken a look at the video, then obviously you're going to say, what did you like about what you saw? What else did you like about it? Are you ready to get started? Are you ready to get started? Now, before I go into the close, I want to go into the questions they might ask you at this moment. They might ask you some questions, and we're going to go over the questions. These are the same questions in the FES script, the credit restoration script that we give you, but this is pretty much what I say. So if they ask you, how long does it take? You know, that's pretty much how long does it take and how much does it cost are pretty much the number 2 questions on the list. And I go, well, Joe, how long do you think it's taking you to get your credit score where it is today? I use that, and it gets them every time. And pause, and because they need to breathe. And it's not going to take that long. But I will tell you this. I personally have seen amazing results in 45 days and seen other things take 3 to 6 months. But what I will guarantee you is this. If you do nothing about your credit score today, it will stay the same or get worse. That I can guarantee. See, because you want them urgency. Urgency. It's all about urgency. And it's all about them, while they're listening to you, their heads going up and down, up and down, up and down. Now let's go to the next question. How much does this cost? And that's going to be probably the number 1 or number 2 question you get. Well, I don't know if you've done your homework, but there are companies out there that charge ridiculous fees, even up to $10,000. But our service is nowhere close to that. We don't cost $5, $3, not even $1,000. Actually, our service is only $499 for 1 year's worth of service with a satisfaction guarantee. Joe, I know you said you wanted to buy a home. You remember, you're going to put that in there again. Buy a car, get a job. That would certainly be worth $499, wouldn't it? Tie down. Always ask a tie down, because they're going, well, God, I told her I needed to buy a house. If I can't afford to pay $499, That's ridiculous. It even sounds ridiculous when they say it. So you're closing them down by using what they gave you when you ask them, what are you trying to achieve? Now let's go to the next question. Will these items come back on my credit report? Commonly asked. Well, Joe, 99.9% of these items won't. They will be deleted from your credit report and will not appear again. But then that very small percent, the only time I have seen, and I've helped thousands of clients in my organization, that stuff reappears has been when a collection was sold to another company. But realize this collection company is not a new item. It's an old collection that a new company bought. But they will not be able to verify that information. So the lesson here, you need to be very mindful and maintain a good payment history and continue to develop excellent credit habits. So, Joe, it's your lucky day. What makes United Credit different is that we don't only dispute the negative item and leverage the law, we also give you the positive things you can do today to increase your credit score. So what you did here is you turned around a question, will this item come back on my report? You answered the question, but you also let them know, guess what? Because obviously if they're asking that, they have collections on their credit report. So you want to make sure they're mindful and they understand that they need to pay their bills on time, but also understand that we're going to dispute that collection, but we're also going to give you some positive things that you can do to raise your score. Okay, let's go on to the next question. Can you get my bankruptcy, foreclosure, short sale, or any public record they might ask of you off my credit report? Well, Joe, anything can be potentially deleted off your credit report. And the reason why is because our company leverages our rights under the Fair Credit Reporting Act, which says that we consumers can dispute anything on our credit report, whether it is true or not. And the bureaus that are $4 billion privately held companies, and 2 are not even in the United States, have 30 days to open up that investigation and verify that item. And guess what? If they don't verify that item, it can potentially be deleted from your report. That makes sense. That makes sense, Joe, doesn't it? Once again, I'm tying them down. Why wouldn't that make sense? Let's go on to the next question. What if these negative items are really mine? Now, even though you've probably already said it, they might have already seen the video, but it's still, if you think about it, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense logically that you would have true things on your credit report and they would be able to be removed. It doesn't make logical sense. So give them a break. What I say is most people aren't even aware that 80% of credit reports have errors on them. That's 8 out of 10 reports have errors on them. So what we do at United Credit Education Services, we focus on, and we're your advocate to help you leverage your rights under the Fair Credit Reporting Act, which says that we consumers can dispute anything on our credit report, whether it is true or not. And the bureaus that are $4 billion privately held companies, and 2 not even in the United States, have 30 days to open up the investigation and answer. But guess what I just said? 8 out of 10 times they do not give the right answer and report incorrectly. And if they don't verify that item, it can potentially be deleted from your report. That makes sense, doesn't it? Now remember, as I'm going through all these questions, I'm going through all these questions on the script. You are not going to be asked all these questions. You're going to be asked probably 1, 2, maybe 3 questions ultimately, and then you're going to go to the close. But I'm going over every one of these, and I'm going over every one of these how I answer them, because you will be asked of them by different people. So let's go to the next one. Can you guarantee that it'll work? Well, Joe, I'm going to answer your question. But if any other credit company gives you any other answer that besides what I'm going to give you right now, they're being dishonest. If you do nothing about your credit score today, I can guarantee you will stay the same or get worse. That's what I'll guarantee. But, my company has a 10-year track record and an A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau. We've helped thousands of clients. So wouldn't you want to be partnered with a company that has all this expertise to help you restore your credit? You'd want to do that, Joe, wouldn't you? Tie down. I've taken it from can you guarantee it to we have a company that really is the guarantee. So it takes it away from the question. Next question. How does your money back guarantee work? Well, it's simple. It goes simply like this. After 3 rounds of 180 days of disputing your negative items on your report, and United Credit has gotten 3 or less negative items off your report, you have the right to call our corporate office and ask for a refund. So, and basically, that's it. I don't go into the numbers and how much. I say look on the website. Usually by this time, they probably have looked at the 8-minute video. They've gone to united-credit.org and they looked at the site. It's right there. It says our satisfaction guarantee. I say click on and read it. But then I say, but I'll tell you this. We have less than 0.3 of 1% refund factor. So obviously we're getting the job done, aren't we? You will be charged a $125 administration fee and a $25 for each item that was deleted successfully. However, what if one of those items was a public record like a bankruptcy? That could be 100 points. One item could be 100 points. And as a client, you can also read this on our unitedcredit.org site. Our mission as a company is to improve your credit score, and we stand behind our product 100%. See, we have thousands of clients. So by answering their question about the guarantee, sometimes I stop and sometimes I continue on and I give them all the specifics. And it just really depends on how, they might say to you, well, what does it cost? How much money do I have to pay? How much money is going to be given back to me as a customer? You're going to read that a little bit. Okay, let's go to the next one. Is this a legit or is this legal? Always laugh. Oh, my goodness. I can understand why you would ask that, Joe, because there's so many credit companies out there taking advantage of people's ill fortunes. But there are 2 things to understand that will make you feel comfortable and confident with our service. First, credit restoration is a very legit and legal process. That's why in the 70s, the Fair Credit Reporting Act was formed to protect consumers and give them a right to investigate and dispute any item on their credit, whether it's true or not. And the Bureau's $4 billion privately held companies, and 2 are not even in the United States, have 30 days to open up the investigation and verify that item. And if they don't, it can possibly be removed. Secondly, you need to understand that United Credit Education Service is a 501(c) nonprofit, and that it is exempt to charge upfront services for credit restoration in all 50 states under the CROA Act. I'm sure you would agree that if we were not legit, we wouldn't have those credentials. Now, you might not even understand on the phone right now what in the heck those credentials are, and it doesn't matter, but it just sounds big. It is a big deal to be a 501(c), and it is a big deal to be exempt under CROA, but you don't have to be a credit expert to read over this and be familiar with it. But they might ask you that. I don't get asked this a lot, but they might. Next, who will help me if I have any questions, or who will I call, regarding my credit? And I always say, well, listen, you can absolutely call me if you have any questions, but understand I'm the middle woman or man connecting you to a great company that has a 10-year track record and has helped thousands of clients. We have a fantastic customer service and credit specialists that can directly pull your credit report and answer any specific questions you might have. For your protection, I just don't see your credit report. I'm a credit expert, so I can answer some generic questions for you. But what's so cool is as a client, you can see your credit score, all your negative items we're disputing, and all the results that happened during the process 24/7, 365 days a year online. So when you call customer service, they're able to pull up the file that you're looking at, and you're able to talk apples and apples with them. So once again, you can call me. I can direct you. The company always gives you the phone number from corporate, and I can give that to you. But for your protection, I do not see your score. Now let's go to the next one. Who will help? If it's a husband and wife, sometimes we call and there's a husband and wife, and they go, well, do you give us a special if it's a husband and wife, and is it only $3.99 for the husband and wife? We all, and this is how I answered it. We all have one Social Security number. It's our stamp. Each individual has their own individual credit report. And there's going to be a lot of positive things on both, and there's going to be a lot of negative things possibly on both. And what our company will do is we're going to make sure that the information that is on both of your reports is reported correctly. And the negative things that should not be there, even though you're married, are not being reported inaccurately. So, and that's what happens sometimes when people are married. Sometimes that, like myself, I had with my husband, y'all have heard my story, most of you, but I used his credit card. I put my name on it, and I didn't tell him. Well, legally, really, the credit company should have not reported it on my report. It should have just been reported on his report. But because it was my items and my usage, and, they know he's not buying stuff at Victoria's Secrets probably almost every day. Just kidding. Then basically they put it on my credit report. And so there's a lot of things like that happen that shouldn't be reported, but because they're married and they might jointly have certain accounts, there are certain things that are being reported incorrectly, and we can take care of that. Now, and then they ask, well, is there a discount? And I say, well, yes, absolutely. What we do is we actually give you a 20% discount on each of your credit restoration. That is a $100 savings. So our retail price is $4.99. So with that 20% discount, we're going to give you a rate of $3.99 a piece. That's something you can get started with today, isn't it? Okay? Now, divorced. Obviously, in a divorce, this is what I say, there are items like credit cards or maybe a home that you both were responsible for, and after a divorce, your credit report can have a lot of errors on it. We're going to make sure that the information is reported, once again, correctly, and the negative things that should not be there, even though you were married, are not being reported inaccurately. That's the most thing in the divorce. When a divorce happens, there's a lot of things that possibly can be reported inaccurately. People could have had credit cards, and this person, one of the the husband or the wife could have used all those credit cards, ran them up, and didn't pay them. All of those things happen. So we're going to do our best job to make sure that the responsible party is getting that item and not the unresponsible party, so to speak. So that's the next question. So let's keep going. How much does this cost? Well, no, that's not right. Keep going. Let me see here, y'all. Hold on. How much does it cost? Okay. Excuse me 1 second. Divorced. All right. Now, we're going to go into the closing now. Okay, here we go. So we're going to go into closing now. And basically in the closing, and then I'll also go over, I lost the screen, but I'm going to try to get it back. That's why I'm not sure where we are. Sorry, guys. Hold on 1 second. Losing the screen. Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
I lost the screen, but Craig,
okay,
I'm going to go to the closing right now.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
The other two ones that were in between were if you feel really confident and they say they don't have $500. You talked about that the one time. If you're feeling confident and you ask them how they're going to buy a house if they don't have $500.
Oh yeah. Okay. So I don't know why. All righty then. Divorced. Okay. So if they don't have $500, this is kind of in the close though. So I'm going to use that in the close, Craig. So,
okay.
So what I'm going to do is, y'all, I'm going to go into the close. And so obviously, if you're talking to somebody and you've answered their questions, right? How much does it cost? How long does it take? So obviously, Joe, you want to get started today. Is this something you can get started with today? What? Great. What is the legal spelling of your name? So if they say, well, how much does it cost? And you said, well, it costs $499. And they go, well, I can't afford $499. Well, I'm going to say, well, Joe, you're not going to buy a house or buy a car if you don't have $499. You don't have $499? They're calling you because they need to repair their credit to buy a home. How are they going to buy a home if they don't have $499? I say it just like that. And then if they say, I just don't have it, okay, when will you have it? We need to put that on your goal list because you're not going to buy that home. You're not going to buy that car. You're probably not going to get that job. We need to put this on your goal list. You need to get started really quickly here. So when will you have $499? Well, is there any other price that you have? You know what I mean? Is there any kind of discount? Can I split pay that? Et cetera. You know, and then I'm going to go into that. So in the closing, you always enter their why. So obviously, Joe, I know that you want to buy a home, so I'm sure you want to get started today. Is this something you can get started with today? And then you always ask, great, what is the legal spelling of your name? And if they say they don't have $499, well, it's your lucky day. We can go into a couple of different scenarios, and it's really going to be something that you're going to fill out. I usually go with this one, but sometimes I do the split payment. But let me start with this one. It's your lucky day. We have a promotion going on right now, which is a 20% discount, which is $100 savings. It is 1 year's worth of service with a satisfaction guarantee. So obviously, you want to buy that home. You want to get started today. Is this something you can get started with today? $399? Great. What is the legal spelling of your name? And if they don't have $399, then we're going to go to the split payment, right? Well, we do have a split payment program, and this is how it works. You put $200 down today, and your credit restoration starts right away. And then in 30 days, you will be charged $210. We do not charge you the $11. The processing center charges you the $11 to process your credit card again. So what is the legal spelling of your name? Now, if they say to you, you can also do this one. So say they said, well, I don't have $499. And you can also say, well, what can you get started with today? They might say to you, half. Well, we do have a split payment program on the $499. It's $250 down, and it's $259 in 30 days. What is the legal spelling of your name? What is your phone number? What is your address? And I'm going to go over that. So you always assume, and, you know, as you can tell when I'm talking about this tonight, it's not what I'm saying. It's how I'm saying it. They need what we got. So you need to make sure that you have conviction. And how can you have that? By practicing and listening. That's how you have it. I wasn't smooth when I first began doing this, but as I did it and made hundreds and thousands of calls, it's like I can do this in my sleep. So you need to really go over it and over it. You'll never get asked, you might not even get asked most of these questions, but you will definitely get asked some of these questions. So you want to go over the script and feel confident about this. They're not going to ask you anything else than this. They really aren't. So you've got to read over it, just like Craig said, when they upload it, you've got to listen to it. And you've got to go over and over and listen to it and have conviction in you are not buying what you want to buy. You are not going forward in your life without restoring your credit. And my company is here to help you do that. And I pretty much say it just like that. I really, really do. You know, in the closing, you know, we always say, you know, we put things down on paper. And there's a lot of reasons we do that. But as an agent, we put the information on paper and then we log in. I've never had a customer, I think one agent in my business have had a customer that said, I'm going to do it online. But I've never had anybody do that. We also have the ability to print out the credit restoration different price points, the $4.99, the $3.99, the $4.99 split pay, the $3.99 split pay. That is all in your back office under enrollment in a PDF file. You can download those, and I would suggest you have them with you. If you have them with you and they're in front of you, obviously, they can fill out a form. But once again, you're going to put it in the system. And the things that you're going to ask for, you're going to say the legal spelling of your name. What is your address? What is your phone number? What is your email? What is your birth date? What is your social? What is your credit card number? We take debit credit cards. Do you take checks? No. Do you take cash? No. So it's a debit or credit. I don't have a credit card, and I don't have a debit card. That's okay. You can go to Walmart, get a green dot card, and you can put the money on there, and you can call me with that number. It's just like a credit card. Now, the difference between us and other credit repair companies, these are the things I say over and over. What makes you different, right? What makes us different? Number one, we're affordable. We're transparent. The client gets to see what is going on 24/7, 365 days a year. We have a 10-year track record. We have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, and we have a satisfaction guarantee. Wouldn't you, Joe, want to work with a company that has all those credentials? Absolutely. That is a guarantee. So hopefully tonight, we did it in 36 minutes. Okay. We had a little difficulties here and there. This is our first webinar, like I said, and it will get better. And next week I'm going to go over the warm market script. It's going to be the next call.
That's going to be the day after Christmas, so you sure you want to do it?
Oh, the day after Christmas? Okay, that's right.
26th.
So when is the next? What is the next Thursday? The next Thursday.
And then with the 26th of the second, I'm available 26th if you want to do it, so that's fine with me. So, and the other thing too is even if people missed it, we will be putting them on YouTube.
We're going to record it. So let's go ahead and do it, Craig. I'll be available. So
okay.
We're going to do the warm market script, cold market script next week, and then we're just going to keep adding tools and things in this webinar forum that you can once again upload. Right, we're doing a Facebook group, et cetera, and we're going to build that training that it can help you, but it also can help your team. So I want to thank everybody for listening in tonight. I hope you learned something. If you have any questions, I want to leave it at that. You can obviously ask questions in the chat, and we can answer those questions for you. I'm going to let anybody, if they have any questions, they can, or anything to say, they can definitely chat in. And if we don't see that, then we're going to say good night. And if I don't see y'all before Christmas, happy holidays to you. Merry Christmas. And go out there, expose. This is the best time to expose. When you're around friends and family, you need to tell them what you're doing. You're involved with a fantastic company. Everything I just told you to say. Keep your ears and eyes open. This is what you're involved in now. You want to help a bunch of folks. And do you know anybody that maybe lost their job or needs credit restoration, maybe lost their home? So write down those names and numbers, get their emails, and we will help you with sending out that information and closing them. So good night, everybody, and we'll talk to you soon. Good night.
Okay, and I will be emailing tomorrow morning. I'll email out the Darbe's credit script, also the follow-up emails, and then we should have, by Sunday, we'll have the MP3 of the webinar and available for download. We'll also have the video up on YouTube, and then I'll probably make a podcast so that way people can download it on their smartphone. So if you have iTunes, we'll put a podcast up there, and that way you can have it on your phone and you can listen to it when you're in the car and really help you become a credit restoration master.
I love it. You rock. Zuwango rocks. Thank you so much. And once again, good night. Good night, everybody.
All right. Thanks, Darbe.